Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to go over some absolutely awesome PC game preservation news, as a previously shut down game is now back forever, and it looks like Ubisoft ain't gonna do anything about it. Like, thank goodness for that one, because y'all know how these publishers sometimes get. I don't know. As I say that, maybe Ubisoft is right now writing out the legal letter, but hopefully that is not the case. The Crew, which did cause quite a lot of stir last year when it was shut down, is now back forever because of the fan-made The Crew Unlimited. That is now available. Now, you will need to have the game files for The Crew if you want to access this and you want to preserve The Crew 1. This is for The Crew 1, and again, you need the game files. How you acquire those game files, whether, you have the game and you can download it or whatever the case may be, I'll leave that up to you guys to figure out. Now, to begin, you need to download the TCU launcher. It'll help you easily patch and manage your Crew game installations and save games, and you have to acquire the Crew game files yourself, as we won't redistribute them. They do have a Patreon, so you can support them. Now, from what I know, generally speaking, they recommend you just start a new save as far as, playing the game, but don't quote me on that. I believe that would be the easiest way to do it instead of, migrating your saves. But The Crew Unlimited is a community project that revives the online-only MMO car RPG video game The Crew, developed by Ivory Tower and published by Ubisoft in 2014. TCU is not affiliated with Ubisoft or Ivory Tower in any way, and that is where the concern could stem from, given the fact that, sometimes these publishers don't play well with fan-made creations. But guess what? Ubisoft is the one that shut down The Crew, so it's like, bro, you're not making any money. You could make the argument, them preserving The Crew is gonna prevent or push people away from buying The Crew 2 or The Crew Motorfest. But yo, Ubisoft, you already got all the bad goodwill in the world right now. You do not need this bad goodwill right now. It's one thing when Rockstar pushes out the banhammer and, stops things from coming to fruition. The reality is, Ubisoft, you can get away with it. Like, bro, you've got a lot of big IPs under your umbrella, but is it the ideal thing to do right now? Absolutely not. Absolutely not should Ubisoft go after this. The Crew recap, as noted on their page, they have an About section. The year 2006 saw the release of Test Drive Unlimited, a revolutionary open-world driving game. The game features a wide selection of various cars to buy, races to win, even properties to own. But most importantly, Test Drive Unlimited features a gigantic map of 618 miles squared to drive and explore. That was an incredible video game map size back then, and it's still very impressive now. The lead developers of Test Drive Unlimited wanted to go even bigger. They formed their own studio called Ivory Tower in 2007 and started conceptualizing a spiritual successor to Test Drive Unlimited right away. The game would once again be an open-world driving game with MMO elements, this time taking place across the entire North US. The project was codenamed Road 66 after Ivory Tower found their publisher. They got to work with Ubisoft Reflections as co-developers. Some 6 hard-working years later, The Crew releases to a somewhat lukewarm reception, only to become beloved nearly a decade later after gamers realized what they've lost. The Crew is a huge multiplayer open-world driving game with MMO elements set across the entire North US, this time with a map size of 1,900 miles squared, a car list of a few hundred cars, an impressively in-depth and epic car customization system that still gives NFS a run for its money, an entire cinematic action story campaign that takes you across the entire North US, also fully playable in co-op, city streets full of life and pedestrian countrysides full of rich nature and animals. There has never existed a car game as rich and large in its content and its world as The Crew. And to top it all off, the game's art and visuals were carefully handcrafted by a team of talented and passionate artists that designed the game to look like a beautiful, moving, dynamic painting, nothing that has ever been seen before or after in AAA gaming. Unfortunately, because The Crew was so different and because of its marketing presenting it as a racing game competitor to NFS and Forza, it was misunderstood. What you're looking for in racing games you might not find in driving games, and vice versa. Despite the mixed critical reception, The Crew was a massive success, with it selling 2 million plus copies in its first year and eventually spawning multiple sequels. Additionally, The Crew was given away for free on Ubisoft's Uplay platform, known now as Ubisoft Connect, for free twice in 2016. By around 2020, the game had over 12 million players total. It was supported for 2 years after its launch, 2 expansions each year, Wild Run in 2015, and Calling All Units in 2016, and it was effectively abandoned in 2017. The Crew 2 came out next year in 2018, and sealed the original game's fate. This happens with games all the time. A sequel comes out, the previous is left behind, so what's the problem? The Crew was designed to be an online-only game, with no action to preserve the game as it was taken down, and reliance on the publisher's central servers to function. Once they were shut down on March 31st, 2024, the Crew became inaccessible and completely unplayable worldwide. No one was able to get past the start screen. And remember, this is a game that they sold expansions for. This is a game that they monetized even beyond the initial $60 purchase. So shutting it down stings a little bit more. And in the grand scheme of things, a decade is not that long. Like, I believe it's actually 9.5 years that the Crew was live for. That's not that long of a time for a game to be active as far as its servers, especially when a $60 price point is tied to it. You know, it's one thing when Concord shuts down in a week and full refunds are given out. Crew, Ubisoft wasn't about to give out refunds for a game that people bought a decade ago. Like, it just wasn't happening. And then they announced the shutdown, and then the Crew Unlimited has begun. The TCU team has been hard at working, writing a custom server emulator ever since the game was officially shut down, which is far, far from a simple task at the moment of this writing. And after a year of development, they have released Crew Unlimited. So that is the entire About section. I skipped a couple portions of it, but go check it out for yourself. Again, even if you don't care about the Crew, I think what this means for game preservation is pretty huge. That even if a publisher will shut down a game, if it's notable enough and beloved enough, people will come together and create a way to preserve it. Now, at the end of the day, it would be great if Ubisoft just didn't shut down games like this and these games were preserved. Even if I have no intention to go back and play the Crew, you would want games, especially games of this caliber, where they're notable games, they were AAA projects when they came out, and they had incredibly expensive editions, and people paid a premium. Yes, it was given out in 2016, but people paid a premium to buy the Crew back in 2014, and just literally the game becoming a potato is kind of wild in the sense, and Ubisoft was able to do it just like that. Now, it was also a case of, remember this, if you think like, oh, who cares about the Crew? Guess what? The vitriol that was attached to the Crew and its shutdown spawned Ubisoft actually doing something about the Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest, in that those games were going to be online-only projects, and now those games are being preserved by Ubisoft directly creating an offline mode. Yeah, they're not going to go back and create an offline mode for Crew 1, but at the very least, because of the outcry, Crew 2 and Crew Motorfest are now being preserved. This is a huge, huge W in the sense that TCU now exists, and because of the public outcry, Ubisoft is changing a couple of their outlooks on their games, and I'm sure this is going to parlay into their future projects as well in terms of creating a preservable experience long after the game comes out, which it's a huge W because you're not paying anything. It just makes the games more playable in the long run. Like, literally, it's not like you're paying more money. It's not like they're asking you for a monthly subscription or anything like that. It's just gonna make the game playable. So remember that sometimes, creating a little bit of public outcry is fairly effective. So with that being said, that's going to do it for me. I think this is a fairly cool story and something worthwhile to cover. Even if you have no interest in going back and playing the Crew, I wanted to give them a mention, and it's a story I thought people should be aware about. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.